Hello everyone and welcome to On the Winbox. This will be episode 13 where we're interviewing Tom from Scubawhere, who runs a brilliant business which we're going to find out all about, and we're going to ask him a few questions about business as well and why I think he's a winner in business. Haven't told him that before because he has got a bit of a big ego, so we don't want to nurture that too much, but he's a great business person, so we're asking him about his tips and tricks and his little secrets. So Tom, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Do you want to kick off with who Scubawhere is, what you're doing, and yeah, just a bit about you?
So, we're trying to revolutionise the scuba diving industry with the latest digital technology. We're doing that by developing a cloud-based reservation system for dive centres to use as a tool to manage their business, monitor their business, and basically assess their performance on an ongoing daily basis. But the technology won't just end there. In 2017 we plan to launch a comparison website to allow divers to search, compare and book securely and instantly scuba diving trips from around the world.
Okay, excellent. So is there nothing like that out there in the market at the moment? Is this revolutionary to the dive market?
There's bits and pieces out there, but there isn't a solution that is cost effective enough for the actual diving industry, that's being built specifically for the diving industry, and generally cares about actually revolutionising it rather than just making money.
Okay, and where are you currently in terms of the business?
We're close to launching an MVP for the reservation system. We've got a couple of dive centres signed up using the system and giving us feedback. One we signed up yesterday was in the Maldives. So it's an exciting time to be involved.
So what you're really looking for is people, dive centres who want to give this system a go, test it out, see how great it can be for their business, but give you feedback as well so you can improve the product before you launch it in a big way.
Absolutely, the reservation system is purely there to serve the diving industry. And if it's not serving the diving industry and only serving us as a business, then there's not much point for it.
Okay, so when are you hoping to have this big launch, to have the products that you're happy with, that you can put out there to the market and get these dive centres coming on board?
We're starting to get people on board now,
yeah.
But the official launch will be around September, October time, as a lead up to the world's largest trade show out in Las Vegas, DEMA. It'll basically built in leading up towards that as a big launch around that period of time.
Okay. And let's talk about yourself then for a second. Why are, it'd be sensible questions, don't worry, all related to business. So why are you involved in this sector, this type of work? What's your background with dive centres?
Well, 2 weeks after my 18th birthday, I'd already quit college, about 3 months earlier. Pretty much disillusioned with life and not really sure where I was going. And it was a conversation with my mother. Basically, she just asked me, what do you enjoy doing? What can you see yourself doing more of in the future? And the answer was scuba diving. It's something that I got involved with within a holiday, family holiday on Lanzarote. And that was it. My mother and father was generous enough to take out a loan for me, to pay for me to go to Turkey to get my scuba diving instructor license. So 2 weeks after my 18th birthday, I was on a one-way flight to Turkey. 3 months later, I was a qualified scuba diving instructor. And then the following 2 months after that, after earning a bit more money, I was on a one-way flight to Australia and beginning my career teaching scuba diving on the Great Barrier Reef. From my experience out there within the tourism mecca of the far north Queensland, there was a lot of big diving centres out there, but there's also a lot of small diving centres. And the small diving centres are struggling to compete against the big ones. And primarily the big difference was the infrastructure that dive centres operated on. So the big guys had like automated reservation systems, they were just picking people up left, right and centre. Whereas the smaller dive centres were really struggling to get their foot in the door, and they were admin heavy. So on average, the diver will be spending up to 16 hours researching, trawling the internet, looking for that scuba diving adventure. And then it would take approximately 40 hours for a booking to be confirmed. Whereas with the big guys,
it's manual because people have to wait for the email to come through or whatever it is, and then trawl through all their emails and then just get back to them manually saying, yeah, you booked to this date, or no, we need to switch it around.
Absolutely, and it's just the contrast and difference was huge. So that's what kind of sparked the whole idea into life about how can dive centres compete on a more fair level, and how can we enable them to allow the scuba diving industry to flourish as well.
So do you think that the small centres, more often than not, can offer a better service or a better quality of dive, maybe more expertise than the larger companies? And is that why you think it's great to give them an even platform to compete? Or is it just the kind of David versus Goliath story? If they haven't got the money, they haven't got it back, it'd be nice for someone to help them out. What's the real motive behind that between helping these small dive centres?
The scuba diving industry is vast. You've got the little guy that's based around the corner within a city that operates on weekends teaching people to dive, to multi-liverboard fleets based in the Red Sea. And there's a large disparity between the lot of them. But a customer has a vast range of difference in budgets. So you have the more valuable clientele that would probably go and spend £1,000 per person on a liverboard, but you've also got the other end of the market of people who just want to go on holiday with their family and maybe do a dive or two. But trying to put that all within one location, most of the industry just focuses on the high value of the industry rather than the small value. And the diving industry as a whole is stagnated. And I generally believe that the small dive centres that can offer that personalised service, that they value each customer that comes through their door, can equally be value for money compared to a big multi-liverboard fleet that goes and sees all the sights and tours. It depends on what the customer's looking for, and there's a wide range in the diving industry to who that customer is.
Yeah, and it's the familiar story, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The small business owner or the small business, when they get work, it means so much to them that they make sure that they put everything they possibly can into that sell or into that service. Whereas often, not with all large companies, but with a lot of large companies, it's not the same mentality when you're working with an employee who wants to get through the day, they've got a lot of work coming through, it's not the money going into their back pocket or to fund their family or to feed their bellies. So it just doesn't quite have that same emotional connection, I suppose, as a small business owner has.
Absolutely. You know, there were some dive centres I worked for out in Australia, and they felt like factories. There was no customer experience. There was no enjoyment for the customer really, but they had nothing to compare to. They still went away happy, but they had nothing to compare to. As a diving instructor, I knew the difference and I felt the difference.
Yeah.
And when I stepped back from the big factory type dive centres and worked for some smaller dive centres that really cared about the customer experience, it made my job more enjoyable to do as well.
Okay, I think we're really getting to the connection here now of why you're doing this for the small businesses. So just to rewind a bit, so you were hooked after one dive. You literally went diving once and you thought, wow, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, or I want to work in this capacity in some way for the rest of my life. You spent 3 months in Turkey, is that right? 3 months in Turkey?
Yeah.
And then you went off to Australia. How long were you in Australia?
First time around 12 months, came back to the UK, repaid all the loans, all the debts, everything that I owed my mother and father, and then went back to Australia and was there for about another basically 2 years.
Okay, so at what point in that journey did you come up with the idea for Scubawhere, for this reservation system, for the dive centres? At what point in the journey was it? Was it at the start you thought, wow, this is a big opportunity? Was it 12 months in when you were back in the UK thinking about going back out?
It was actually after Australia. So I was getting sponsored into Australia, it didn't work out, so I had a choice of going back to the UK or going somewhere else. New Zealand is the closest place to Australia, so I was like, screw it, let's go to New Zealand. And I set up my first business out there as a sales and marketing rep, and I represented the largest scuba diving training company, dive centre in Australia. I represented them to the New Zealand market. It was going well, and then it was through a conversation with a very good friend of mine, who was the marketing manager for that company, that I had the whole brainwave, that light bulb moment, and that was it really. That business pretty much went to be switched off, and it was all just about getting this new venture launched.
So you started working on it literally the same day or the next day, straight away? It was, okay, well, this is a great idea, let's do this.
That night, I spent So I had a conversation around about 6 o'clock in the evening. I was up to about 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, just wireframing designs and ideas of websites and what they'd do and how it would work and all that sort of stuff, and that's how it just kind of snowballed, really.
Okay, excellent. So predominantly you're a tech business,
Yeah.
it's a tech product, and I know you've got a tech background as well. So what advice would you give to tech companies out there looking to validate their offering, their product, and launch it to the market?
The key is understanding the problem that you're trying to solve, and really getting an on-the-ground knowledge and experience of it. So if you want to go into a tech industry, make sure that you've got the relevant work experience, that it's not just one location or one business. Go into multiple areas and get a real understanding of the industry that you're trying to provide a solution for. Following that, you're effectively trying to build a minimum viable product and get that out there as quickly as possible. We've been on a very snaky journey and learning through the last couple of years on how to do that. And admittedly, it's taken us a lot longer than I thought it would. Looking back, if I was to do it all over again, it would be a lot more cleaner and streamlined in terms of how we get
That's
there.
always the way, isn't it?
Absolutely. So, yeah, basically learn the industry, get to know exactly what the problem is, make sure it's not isolated, and then build a minimum viable product of what people would value.
Yeah. Then actually execute. It's easy to have these ideas, and it could be £1 million ideas, could be £1 billion ideas, but it means nothing if you don't actually execute on the idea and actually put into graft day after day, hour after hour, to make sure that idea comes into reality so you can help the people that you're looking to help.
Sure. I would say though there's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done before it's launched, and I wouldn't undervalue that at all. The execution of the idea is basically following up from what your groundwork, your framework of what you've learned over the past and what your overall strategy is. And I'd say that is pivotal to any business. If you haven't done your homework, you ain't going to be launching anytime soon, or if you do launch, you'll be flopping harder than an angry bird. So.
Yeah, I agree. I like that expression. So you had a video recently that went viral. I've seen it, but do you want to tell us a bit about what that video was about and what you did?
So in the local newspaper here in Bristol, there was an article about a local Chinese restaurant. They were reported to be selling shark fin soup on their menu, and shark fin soup is a terrible, terrible dish. It's generally a sign of wealth to the Chinese community and massively consumed in China. Each year we kill, as a human race, 100 million sharks per year, just purely for their fins. If you go to somewhere like Costa Rica or countries of that equivalent, there's rooftops just covered with shark fins, and hundreds of millions of sharks die or get slaughtered for these fins. It tastes like nothing. It's cartilage, similar to an ear, and the only thing that is tasty is the broth. It's actually illegal in the UK to sell shark fin soup on the menu, but there is a loophole within the EU regulations that a person can bring in 20 kilos of shark fin for personal consumption.
That's a lot of personal consumption.
Very much so. And it's just a massive waste. Removing the apex predator in the ocean is just going to change the biodiversity of our oceans.
Yeah.
And the oceans are what this planet survives on to survive. More than 70% of the world's oxygen comes from the reefs that are around our planet.
And never knew that, 70%. Wow. I guess the other 30% comes from the Amazon, pretty much.
Pretty much. So it's a huge, huge part, and climate change is also part of that. But protecting our oceans is pivotal. I'm a big fan of Sea Shepherd, as you probably know.
Yeah.
Captain Paul Watson, the founder of Sea Shepherd, says, "If our oceans die, we die."
Yeah.
And it's so true. But the video we uploaded onto Facebook, it was recorded of myself going into the restaurant and hand delivering a letter on behalf of Bite Back.
So this restaurant, they were serving shark fin soup.
Yes.
On their menu.
Yes.
Do you know how long for, or was it a new thing?
No idea.
No, they were serving it. So you went in there with a letter.
With a letter on behalf of Bite Back Marine and Conservation Society. It was co-signed by the likes of Gordon Ramsay, Ben Fogle and various other celebrities. And it was inviting the restaurant to take the shark fin off its menu. Thankfully, by the time I got there, the public pressure of the newspaper article and the conversations leading up to that had already forced them to remove shark fin from their menu. So it's actually a bit of a celebration video that this is what public pressure can do to remove shark fin from the menu. Anyway, we uploaded the video and it's reached over 55,000 people.
That's brilliant. I guess that far exceeds anything else you've ever done on social media before.
Yes, you know, it's something that took 15 minutes to video. It took me less than an hour to edit. Took me 5 minutes to upload. Haven't paid a penny to advertise it, and it's reached 55,000 people.
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, I know as a small business owner, I would love for one of my videos to go to 55,000 people. It would just be epic for the business, and it could transform what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, what have you? Did you get much attention or awareness from that video for Scubawhere, or is it predominantly just? Well, obviously, it was just for the good of the cause. But what has happened after that video?
Our Facebook engagement likes have gone up by over 10%.
Excellent.
We've got a lot more people signed up to our email subscriber lists as a direct result. A lot of stuff really of just us benefiting from it. That wasn't the purpose of the video.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point you touch on there, is you did it because it was the right thing to do, because it was a good thing to do and something that you're passionate about, and that got you the leverage to get the attention that you want for your business. So by doing good things happen, and I think that's very apparent in modern day businesses nowadays.
Yeah, you know, the video first got uploaded, it reached about 30 to 40,000 people. It all then went quiet, and it was only in about the last week or two that it's picked up another wave of interest, and it's got another wave of likes and shares and a lot more engagement. So it was very strange how it took off, died down, and now it's just taken off again. Yeah. So it would just be interesting to see what happens in 12 months' time to how much reach we've actually got on it.
That's a brilliant story, brilliant video.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up here, but thank you so much for coming in for the interview. It's great to hear your advice and hear your story. I wish you all the best of luck. Just in closing, imagine there's a dive centre watching this. What do you want to say to them in 1 or 2 sentences to get them to come on board your product and make this happen in a big way?
The diving industry is changing. Divers are looking for more direct contact with diving, well, they're dive companies, they're scuba diving centres worldwide, and they're not willing to wait for the information that's being given to them. So what we're suggesting is have a look at your business. Review it, analyse it. Is it really performing to the current digital era demands? And if it isn't, then by all means, please get in contact with us and we can help you. Even if we are an early stage, there's probably lots of ideas and advice that we can give you to help you streamline your business to be more cost effective and serve your customers better.
Excellent. You can really see how passionate you are about this. So thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. We'll be doing plenty more interviews like this with winners in business. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, keep an eye out for them, and if you liked this video, please comment, share, like, whatever you can do, and we'll spread Tom's word to help change the dive industry forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you.